So I'm on a roll right now. I rarely do parts beyond part 3s because my ADHD just simply won't let me, but this is William Marshal, the longest serving knight in English history, part 5! So in the last part, we finished at the Battle of Le Mans, where Marshal had bought time for Henry II to escape by unhorsing Richard the Lionheart. Richard the Lionheart spared him, but it has become clear at this point that Henry II is dying. So Henry has to sign a peace agreement with Richard, and this is where he learns that his favorite son, John, betrayed him. Henry's last words to his son were basically, God grant that I live long enough to be revenged on you. But he didn't. He dies soon after. But what was to become of William Marshal, the noble knight that stood by the king even when he was losing? Well, Richard was king by default now, but he hadn't been confirmed as king. So he calls Marshal into a meeting with him. He's just like, Marshal, you tried to kill me the other day. And Marshal's like, no, I killed your horse when I could have killed you. And Richard's just like, you know what? That's a good point. So he forgives Marshal, and just to seal the deal, he confirms his father's promise that he would marry Marshal to Isabel de Clare. But Richard's the kind of man that doesn't give you something for nothing. He needs Marshal to go back to England to look after his interests until he is confirmed as king. And once he is confirmed as king, because he leaves on Crusade the following year, he wants Marshal to serve on the Regency Council. And of course Marshal agrees to this because Richard was his new king and he was loyal to a fault. He also marries Isabel. Marshal was about 44 at this point. She was about half his age, which was not uncommon for this time period. She was also far above his station because he was still a knight, a landholding knight, but not a lord. He would not be made a lord for another 10 years. We then enter the period of political William Marshal. Richard was away on Crusade. Because God, he was a bad king. He was a good soldier, but a terrible king. And on his way back from the Crusade, Richard gets captured in Hungary, I think. And it's at this time, his brother John makes a move for the throne. We're in Robin Hood territory now. Obviously, this causes a rift among the lords, but William Marshal stays in the faction that's loyal to Richard. And John doesn't really have the military power to seize the throne, so it ends in a bit of a stalemate. Whilst it was a short conflict, there was still quite a bit of fighting. It was during this that William's older brother, John Marshal, had chosen the other side and was killed. William inherits the Marshal family lands. King Richard was now returning to England. However, King Philip II of France had started a war to take his duchies in France. And at the Siege of Chalon, Richard takes an arrow in the shoulder and dies of an infected wound. He was shot by, I kid you not, a literal child, who his army then flayed alive. Anyway, Marshal at this point was serving as the treasurer. But with the death of Richard, there was a bit of a question of who was king. So the question was, is it his younger brother John or his nephew Arthur of Brittany? And Marshal, he backs John reluctantly. He did not like John. He had just fought a war against him. And John did not like Marshal. The idea of John being king, so many lords just went, nah, screw this. And instantly fighting breaks out. But I have run out of time. Please come back for part 6, maybe the last part. We'll see how we go.